First thing, you have a full-time job. And that is your job search. That's why I asked, how much time did you invest in your search? And I will ask every one of you there that didn't invest 40 hours, how many hours did you work in your last job? My guess is 30, 40, 50, maybe 60 hours a week. So my question to you is, why are you willing to work harder for someone else than you're willing to work for yourself? Because you are self-employed now. You're self-employed to find a job. So follow Lynn's activity here, his behavior. Invest time in yourself. Meet people face to face, because that's what makes the difference. Set objectives. You see my background, I have an engineering degree. So I'm big on process, I'm big on metrics. But it's also a way to hold yourself accountable. Because again, when you were in your last job, someone gave you objectives to meet. People asked you whether or not you were meeting your objectives. And if you weren't, you got feedback. Now you have to do that for yourself. So measure the process. When someone says, well, I have an objective, I need to have a job by July 1. I'm like, oh, time out. You're setting yourself up for failure. Because you have no control over whether you're going to get that job by July 1. What you do have control is do you invest the time? Do you meet people one-on-one? Do you go sell yourself? That's what you control. So that's what you want to measure and set objectives for. And I would suggest everyone in this room should get a job coach. And I don't mean someone that you hire. And if you want to hire me, that's okay. No, just kidding. I'm not here for that. I suggest everyone get a coach. It can be someone you're sitting next to right now. My coach, and I think, Ronnie, you know him, Ken Ehrlicha. He was my coach during my job search. A good friend of mine. Worked with him for 15 years. We are still in touch. We have lunch every month. I'm helping one of his sons right now in a job search. And I used to talk to him every week to keep me grounded and accountable in my search. And then track your performance. Set objectives and track your performance. Don't just say, well, I worked about 40 hours. When I work with people, that's the first question I ask them every single time. How many hours did you work last week? I want to know exactly what it is after we set these objectives. 40 hours a week is the minimum. Hours on the internet, 10 maximum. Applying online is not how you're going to find your job. Yes, you have to apply online to get into systems. Yes, you have to apply to jobs online to qualify for unemployment. But to find your next position, that is not the most effective and efficient way to go about it. So your support coach, what do they need to do for you? One, I suggest you get 2 people. Now, Ken was retired, so I could bug him every week. And he was okay with that. But have a couple people you can use as your sounding board. It cannot be a spouse or anyone else that is emotionally attached to you. Because what do people that are emotionally attached to you want to do? They want to make you feel good. They're going to help you make excuses of why you didn't do what you were supposed to do. It's got to be someone that's willing to invest a couple hours a month. That's all. Not a lot of time. It's an accountability. It's got to be someone you respect. It's got to be someone you're willing to listen to. So when they give you feedback, when they give you an opinion that's different than yours, you will really listen to it and not just hear it. And it's someone that's willing to tell you what you need to hear versus what you want to hear. And Ken was great for that. Because when I told him I only worked 34 hours last week, he asked, why? Don't you want a job? How many hours do you work for AB? At least 60 a week. So why are you going to part-time? I don't want to hear that. But I need to hear that. When my voice came across as down, depressed, bad attitude, he called me on it. You know what you sound like today? You sound like someone I don't want to hire. Why do you want to be like that? Not what I wanted to hear, but what I needed to hear. And I knew Ken was telling me that for one simple reason. Because he cared. He cared about me. And he knew the best way he could help me is to hold me accountable to be successful. That's the type of person you want to get in your job coach. Every week, set a time and date. You will call them. This is your job search, so you need to take responsibility for it. Make it convenient for them. You want to give them an update on your activities, your metrics. What are your plans? Ken always asks me, well, how many meetings did you have last week? How many meetings are on your calendar this week? Ken, how am I doing? Does it seem like I'm doing the right things? And then how do I sound on the phone? Do I sound energetic and confident, positive attitude? Someone that you want to hire? Or do I sound tired and depressed and someone you want to make go away? That's the value he added to me. And there's people in this room that can do that for each other. Find people to do that. Track your performance. What I find is, if they don't track it, if I don't write it down, I always work 40 hours a week. Because my little subconscious is trying to help me with that. Well, I know I took Wednesday afternoon off, but I made it up on Thursday, so I probably worked 40. When really I only probably worked about 25. When I have to write it down, it makes it more honest. When I know I have to show it and tell somebody else, I have to be more credible. So write it down for yourself. Hold yourself accountable so you're investing the right time in the right activities to make yourself successful. So from an accountability standpoint, get those metrics in place. Make sure you're investing the right amount of time and you're not spending the world on the internet. Get a support coach in place, at least one if not two, and track your performance. Give yourself feedback. Are you doing what you should be doing? So like everybody's got a piece of paper, a pen. Write down some objectives. How many hours do you want to work? If you're not working 40 hours, don't think next week you're going to work 40 hours. Build up to it. Say, I want to work 30 hours next week. I want to work 35 hours. I'm going to work 5 or 6 hours a day. Get a specific objective for yourself that you can hold yourself accountable for. And part of that is hours on the internet. It's easy to get lost surfing the net. The internet is a great source of information. It's a lousy source of a job. When you get a job coach, share this with them. This is what I want to do. This is what I want you to hold me accountable for, to make sure I'm working my 30, 35, 40 hours a week. That I'm not spending more than 2 hours a day on the internet. Now, if you want to spend all night and all week on the internet, I don't care. I'm talking about your job search time. Be very specific. Write down a couple of people you think could be your job coach. Someone that you can approach. Someone in this room. A friend. A colleague. I do mean not a spouse. Probably not a brother and sister. It's got to be someone that's more objective about what you're trying to accomplish. And don't think people aren't willing to help. If there's one thing I learned in my job search loud and clear, that people want to help each other. Sometimes you just got to ask. Because many times they don't know how to help us when we're in a job search. They don't know what to do. So if you share that with them, they're going to be willing to do that.